Development plans require a public hearing. However, no action will be taken by the Planning Commission members. Plats, rezoning, revised master plan, street naming, and text amendments require a public hearing, and once the public hearing is completed, the Planning Commission members will deliberate and render their decision. Planning Commission members with a personal or financial interest in any petitioner's request are required to recuse themselves. The members of the Planning Commission present are Kippy Tate, Cruz Reeves, Reginald Hawkins, Buddy Hardwick, Frank Cook, Ann Clemens, and myself, James Reed. Members of the land use staff are Tommy Tyson, James Center, Jovan Hines, and Tanya Ingram. Members and petitioners are requested to speak directly into the microphone. The minutes are recorded for legal purposes, and this is the only way to accurately pick up audio. Tonight we have 7 members present, and it takes 5 votes to pass a motion. Because of the number of board members present, if you would like to delay your request, please let us know when your request is announced. Everyone has had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any changes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion been made and properly second. All those in favor to accept the minutes from the last meeting, please have a show of hands. Those opposed? All right, Mr. Tyson, we have one change to the agenda.
That's correct. It's a rezoning request by Patsy Coles on, the request is to rezone one lot on the southeast corner of Oak Street and Mill Street from R60D to B2. We heard the February 27th meeting.
All right, thank you very much. The first item.
First item is Rodney Walker for Patriot Fueling Centers requesting final approval of IREP Montgomery Plat number 1A on the westernmost end of Louisville Street in a M3 district.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rodney Walker. I do represent Patriot Fueling Centers, and I'm just here as a plat request. And like the gentleman said, my request is for final approval of IREP Montgomery plat number 1A, located on the westernmost end of Louisville Street in an M3 zoning district. It's basically just dividing that property up where the city will be able to sell us 16 acres approximately out of that big tract. And I'll answer any questions that y'all would like for me to at this time.
Okay.
Excuse me.
No, I was about to say, are there any questions or comments from the members of the commission?
Rodney, explain that, what Lot 2C, explain that a little more. I mean, you've got an explanation, but give me a...
Yes, sir. Give me just a second.
Rodney, also, if you don't mind, it's hard to...
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay, basically, we're purchasing Lot 2B. So that would be the 16-acre tract, and then that would leave 2A that would still belong to the city. Lot 2C, which you've asked me about, is basically a drainage easement that the city already owns that goes from the railroad area down to the river. And basically that's a 40-foot deep by 100-foot wide ditch, and there'll never be anything that you can do with that. And we're purchasing up to the edge of that.
Gotcha, okay, gotcha, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm speaking into the mic. Tell them to turn it on. You got me on? Excuse me. So you mentioned you're purchasing this property from the city?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Was it auctioned or was it up for public sale? How did you get to be the successful buyer?
We went to the city and asked to purchase the property, and then they sent it out and had an appraisals done on it, and then come back and the city council met and approved those appraisals, to sell the property.
So it did not go out as a public advertisement for the average taxpayer to have an opportunity to purchase it?
No, sir. We come to the city and ask to purchase that property.
So again, it did not go out to the public?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other, are there any other questions from the members? Are there any questions or comments from members of the audience? All right, a motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
The motion is made to approve. All those in favor? Those opposed? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
How did Mr. Hawkins and Mr. Dunn vote?
I'm sorry?
Did you vote
Approve.
for?
Approve.
Okay, I didn't see your hands.
The next item is presented by Southeastern Land Survey Incorporated for Mary Helen Nelson. It's a request for final approval of Mary Helen Nelson Plat Number 1 on the south side of Pilgrim Street, some 200 feet west of Lehigh Street. It's a R60D district.
Good evening. I'm Derek Saveda with Southeastern Land Surveying.
Could you speak into the mic a little bit more?
I'm Derek Saveda with Southeastern Land Surveying, requesting final plat approval for the Mary Helen Nelson Plat Number 1, situated in Montgomery.
Are there any questions or comments from the members?
Yeah, that, one of those lots has a house on it, is that correct?
One lot does have a house on it.
Yeah, and you're dividing it where you can build on the other one?
I'm sorry, sir, what was that?
You're dividing it where you can build on the other side?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Any other questions from the members? Are there any questions from the members of the audience or comments? All right, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Those opposed? All right, thank you. Good luck
Thank
on
you.
your project.
The third item is by Flowers and White Engineers on behalf of Dr. Fawn, M.D. It's a public hearing for development plan for a new building at 202 Middling Park Drive. It's a B2 district.
Good evening, Brad Flowers, Flowers and White Engineering. We're bringing before you tonight a development plan for Dr. Fawn off of Middling Office Park. Just a single office building towards the rear of the property with parking out towards the front, a single curb cut. Don't know if there's a whole lot to it, that y'all might have questions. Anything I can answer, I'm here for you.
You need to speak into the mic a little bit more or turn it up or
Do I need to start over?
yes, please.
All right, Brad Flowers, Flowers and White Engineering. Middling Office Park, a new office building for Dr. Fawn. Building set to the rear of the property, parking out to the front, single access off to the main street. Not a whole lot to it. I'll entertain any questions.
Are there any questions from the members? What is that no refuse container signage indicator or approved?
What is it now? I didn't understand the question.
The land use division has a note down here.
That means that there's no signage or there's no refuge container indicated on the development plan. So they would have to, if they decide to place either one, we'd have to make sure it's in compliance.
So when they come back to us,
No, sir, they wouldn't come back for that.
no, but I mean, this is a public hearing. They will be back to us at some point, correct?
No, sir.
Okay.
This is a public hearing.
Okay.
Everything is what it's supposed to be. I just need to indicate that that wasn't on there, so that way somebody just doesn't go out there and stick a sign up or whatever.
Okay.
We will not have a trash receptacle on this. There'll be rollaway cans, so we won't have that. The sign will be placed per the city's ordinances and requirements, but we don't know the exact location of that yet.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from members of the audience? Since this is a public hearing, there is no vote, so good luck.
Thank you.
The next item is by Americo Real Estate Company for U-Haul and Storage of South Montgomery. Public hearing for development plan for 6 mini warehouse buildings to be located at 2333 east-south boulevards of B2 district.
Hi, good evening. My name is Scott Fall. I'm with U-Haul Company of Alabama.
Can't hear.
Okay, still can't hear? Okay. My name is Scott Fall. I'm with U-Haul Company of Alabama. We just recently purchased the closed Super Kmart on South Boulevard, and we're requesting to add some storage in the parking lot of the facility.
Any questions from the members?
You're doing storage in the parking lot?
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. Yeah, but what are you doing with the building? That's my question.
What are we going to do with them?
I was just curious.
It's self-storage. We'll be building storage inside and on the outside of the property.
Okay.
So for clarity, you're going to use the building for storage units as well? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the U-Haul, the
U-Haul truck,
vehicles are going to be
all of our
parked.
associated products, trucks, trailers.
They're already there, aren't they?
We're starting to be there, yes, ma'am.
They're already there. Okay.
Any questions? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So we don't have a zoning issue here. This is a development plan. Is that right?
That's correct.
Didn't we deal with this one time before, somewhere close to this?
Not for that property.
Is it this particular property?
Yes, we did.
Yes, sir, it was rezoned, it was rezoned,
It was rezoned previously, right?
it was rezoned from B4 to B2 to allow for
For
the
this
climate,
use.
for this use,
There you
yes,
go.
sir.
I thought we had done
Oh,
something
okay.
on this.
I thought you were talking about the other property.
Are there any question, comment from members of the audience? Please state your name when you come to the mic, please.
My name is Diane Williams, and I'm the neighborhood.
Just move the mic, just move the mic.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm short, right? My name is Diane Williams, and I am the president Neighborhood Association of the Sutton Place Neighborhood Association, which that location is right in our backyard. I ask your permission to please hand you a letter from the other neighborhood association. Can I come approach you and pass these out? Thank you.
My name is Mary Wisdom. I represent the Gay Meadows, Glad Lane, and Clubview Estates Neighborhood Association. Mary Wisdom represents the Gay Meadows, Glad Lane, and Clubview Estates Neighborhood Association, which surrounds the old Kmart property. And we are agreed in our concerns. While Ms. Williams is passing those out, I would like to say that our associations represent almost over 900 households in that area. And what we are doing tonight is respectfully requesting that the public hearing for the 6 mini warehouse buildings to be located on the old Kmart property at least be continued until the next meeting. The proposed project is of great concern to our neighborhood. Most residents were totally unaware of the proposed plan. I understand from the Planning Commission I called today, they said you're required to put an ad in the Montgomery Advertiser. That's kind of old school. Lots of people don't see the advertiser anymore. I drive by there routinely. I didn't see the little signs saying this meeting was going to be held. It's been a year since we addressed this whole rezoning issue, and at that point we said we did not want another warehouse, another storage area. And our concern is the company owners made no attempt to talk to homeowners about this additional storage unit area. The neighborhood association hasn't had the opportunity to be informed about the units. We're concerned that, for instance, I live on North Colonial Drive. There's a gigantic storage unit on the bypass about a mile from my house next to the, I think it's the Ford Motor dealership. Last year, there was a gigantic storage unit put on McGee Road, 1 block from my house, behind my house. And now this one is another block and a half away. Our main concern is that we haven't had time to talk to the owners. Nobody's talked to us about it. Nobody's asked our opinions about it. And we honestly don't want our part of Midtown to turn into some kind of warehouse district. and that's where it's going right now. So we respectfully request that at the very least, you postpone any decision on this prospect for at least until the next meeting, so that our neighborhood people can have a chance to give you their input, listen to the owners. We're willing to listen to their proposal. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, when I went there today and drove around the property looking for the posted signs about this meeting, which had already been taken down, it's already messy. Trucks are higgledy-piggledy, the property's not very well taken care of, and I think we deserve the chance to talk and deliberate over this before you people vote. That's what we're asking. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, go ahead. Ma'am.
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 Yes.
It would have
Sorry.
been nice if they had spoken to the neighborhoods, but
I'm sorry?
I said it would have been nice if they had spoken to the neighborhoods, but they're not required to. Our hands are tied. We don't have any jurisdiction on this. This is a development plan, and we afford a public hearing for that. But we don't have any jurisdiction.
I understand, but what we're saying is it would be good if the Planning Commission would just postpone the meeting for a month. Then our two neighborhood associations, representing again almost 1,000 households who are concerned about this, could have an opportunity to meet with the owners who are proposing this plan and see if we can come to some kind of compromise or issue or whatever. It's not your job, I understand that, but it is your capability to postpone this decision for a month so that we can discuss it.
Well,
we can't delay it.
Well,
May I ask why?
It's really not a decision tonight. Tonight is just a public hearing.
Excuse me?
I said tonight is a public hearing. It's really not a decision on our part. We don't vote on anything about this. Now, what I would ask is that the gentleman meet with you all, make some kind of arrangements with him.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. You're saying that you're going to vote on letting this proposal stand?
We don't vote tonight. Tonight is a public hearing.
So when is the vote taken on whether this will happen or not?
Well, when he brings it back. What I'm suggesting, what I'm asking you to do is get with him and you all work out some kind of meeting with the homeowners association and have that conversation and have that dialogue with that, about that.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a suggestion, please?
Yes.
Maybe someone from the staff can let her know what procedures and rules that we're going by so that she can get a thorough understanding of why we're not voting on anything. The actual vote took place when we rezoned the property some time ago. So the development plan has a different kind of criteria which does not require us to vote on anything. But I think Tanya, somebody over here, can really explain that to you a little bit more in depth than we can, and we can keep moving with the meeting, but there's no vote tonight on this development plan.
I'm sorry, so you're saying this is a done deal?
Tanya, would you speak to her, please?
Yes, ma'am, over here. If a development plan, we have public hearings for development plans and take into consideration any recommendations they may make to us as staff. But if it meets all the guidelines of our zoning ordinance, it would be approved because the rezoning took place 2 years ago. That was when they voted on this.
Right, and we understand the rezoning took place over a year ago, but that's part of our concern. Nobody's talked to us about anything since. So
Right.
I just want to be clear because I'm going to my homeowners meeting tonight. Basically, it's a done deal, and it doesn't matter what the people in the neighborhood think about this particular proposal.
No, that's why we have a public hearing, so you can voice your concerns, and they can make recommendations to staff on the development plan, but it's just recommendations. If it meets all the requirements of our zoning ordinance, it would be approved.
Let me ask you this.
Microphone.
I'm sorry. Okay, maybe about a year ago when they did rezone, we had the development of, I guess, the person who sold the property. That was another company that was purchased that property and looked like it's changed hands. So that was my concern because we never met with this particular buyer. So I'm just wondering, you know, you said that it's a done deal because it's in that commercial zone area.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
can buy property if they want to there. But I think what the neighborhood is asking, how would it affect us as homeowners? And I understand that's not y'all call, but if you can just allow us time before you make the decision, maybe we could speak with the gentleman just left here to make arrangement for a meeting. I think it's just coming to an understanding of what they're planning to do, the safety of the community, you know, with the property, because it's look tacky, and maybe there's something that the homeowner, like more lighting concerning the property at all. So how do we go about handling that and get that, you know, like for safety areas, like if there's a safety problem, because we got neighborhood homes right in the back, like your desk, my house. How do we go about doing that?
Mr. Tyson?
Well, Mr. Fall is still here. You can get his contact information, and he can explain the plans to you. But it is in compliance with the zoning ordinance.
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
No.
Was you asking me a question? I'm sorry.
No, I said it's in compliance with the zoning ordinance, but Mr. Fall is still here, the representative of the U-Haul company, and you can speak to him out in the entrance way and talk to him, and maybe he can explain it, go over the plans, and listen to your concerns.
Okay, can he raise his hand for me so I can?
He's right there.
Mr. Fall?
It's right behind you.
Can you give me your card, maybe? Okay. All right. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
All right.
You're welcome.
Get with him. Get with him now. And- Yes, sir. Come forward, please.
I'm Arthur Green, and I'm a part of the Gay Mellors Association. And it was a concern, but I've been by there. They've done some significant improvements on it now, and I believe that if the gentleman would agree to meet with the association, because as I'm understanding it now it's zoned to do what he's doing. So our move now is to get with him to see if we can voice our concerns so that he will be willing to cooperate with the community.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr.
Good.
Green?
Okay.
Mr. Green, they're meeting with him right now.
No, I believe he'd be willing to meet with the association. So I just wanted to make sure that that's what, those are just two members of the association.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's, the other thing, who do we find out from how we can get ahead of that? In other words, when things are coming in our community?
The land use.
If you go on the website, you can sign up to receive all agendas. If you want to call me tomorrow, I can explain that to you.
Okay, if you would write your name,
Okay.
your number on something, I'll march by there and pick it up on the way out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The next item is presented by Buckle Design Group on behalf of Discount Tire Company. It's a public hearing for development plan for a new building to be located on the north side of East Chase Parkway, 400 feet west of Boyd Cooper Parkway. It's a B2 district.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Wagoner with Buckle Design Group here on behalf of Discount Tire Company. Discount Tire has this piece of property that is to be platted, which is our next case on the agenda, to construct a new retail store at this location. This is very similar to the one that's currently under construction on Eastern Boulevard. I'm here tonight to address any questions or comments that you may have. Thank you.
Questions?
Yes, I have maybe a comment. Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Okay. What is this one gonna look like out there in East Chase? You said it's gonna look like the one on Eastern. Man,
Yes, sir.
that thing is ugly. If you're gonna put that in East Chase, I don't know how long you're gonna be out there. That thing on the Eastern bypass is ugly.
Are you speaking of the building?
Yeah.
I can pass that information along.
Pass it on, please, and ask them fine tune the
Connors,
pencil.
no, Connors and
Yes,
Home
sir.
Depot is right
But
there
I
on-
understand
on that
this is a
front.
separate situation, but I just wanted to pass on the fact that it's so massive and ugly. I don't know if y'all really want to operate out of that building.
I'll
just
pass
ugly.
that on.
Yeah.
Any other questions or compliments from the members of the board here? Are there any comments from the members of the audience? Come forward. Come forward to the microphone, please.
Okay, the comment is not really concerned about what he's saying. We can hear in the audience very well what the speakers here at this podium are saying. We can hardly hear anything that you guys are saying when y'all address who is talking. So if you guys could, I don't know, maybe y'all need to get closer to the mic. I'm not trying to be really critical here, but we can't understand the words that you're saying out there. I mean, I'm straining,
Can
and
you
I
hear me
can
now?
hear very well.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, good. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll get closer then. Any other comments from the members of the audience?
Next item is presented.
Sir, this is a public hearing and there is no vote, and your public hearing has been held. Thank you very much.
Next item is Goodwin Mills and Kaywood on behalf of Boyd Investments LLC. It's a request for final approval of Boyd Cooper Commercial Plat Number 8 on the north side of East Chase Parkway, approximately 400 feet west of Boyd Cooper Parkway. It's a B2 district.
My name is Judy Jones with the Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, and we are requesting to plat this one parcel into 2 tracts. I got it upside down anyway. Lot 1 is where the Discount Tire is going.
Hey, how you doing?
Good?
Did Freddie Lynn design this building?
No, sir.
Thank God. Do you know who designed the building?
No, sir.
Okay, y'all are just...
We're only doing the site work.
The engineering aspect.
Yes, sir.
of it.
Just platting
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Are there any questions and comments from the audience? All right, a motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second. All those in favor? Those opposed? All right, thank you. Good luck on your project.
Next item by Goodwin Mills and Kaywood on behalf of New Park Development, Inc., requesting approval of a revised master plan for property on the north side of Park Crossing, approximately 3,000 feet west of Ray Thornton Road in a PUD district.
Hello, Max Vaughn with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, and this is the area that is being requested to be revised. The original plan showed 50 and 65-foot lots. It will be revised to 60 and 75-foot lots, which is part of the original PUD approval, at least the size lots were. It'll actually be a net reduction of lots, approximately 72 lots, so it's a lowering in density of the development. So I'll be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
Any questions? Comments? Are there any questions, comments from the members of the audience? All right. Motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Those opposed? All right, sir. Good luck on your project.
Thank you.
Goodwin Mills and Kaywood on behalf of Notch LLC, requesting to rezone one parcel of land on the east side of Ann Street between Althea Street and Thrasher Street from R60M to B2.
My name is Judy Jones, Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, and we are requesting on behalf of Notch LLC to rezone this property from R60M to B2. And with me today is Mr. Jack Johnson, who is the proposed purchaser of the property should this be rezoned. We've got the site plan here. As you can, I guess you want to know what it's going to look like, huh? The potential development is for storage world, self-storage. It's going to be a stucco brick facility. It's basically a very quiet business. The hours are going to be like Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 6 o'clock, Saturday, 9:30 to 4, closed on Sunday. There will be, I'm going to go back over here, Jackie. You will not be able to, sorry, you will not be able to enter the property from Ann Street, the proposed development. You'll have an entrance here on Thrasher Street and one on Althea Street, and it will be gated.
Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I have to recuse myself on this one.
Okay, no problem. Are there any questions or comments from members of the board? Are there any questions or comments from the audience? Come forward.
Good evening. I'm Gene Gunner at 2130 Capitol Avenue. I've been a resident there for about 35 years, and I wanted to ask if you guys had noticed that this is a total residential property that they're trying to put a B2 business into, which is better known as spot zoning. Between Highland Avenue going north to the Atlanta Highway, the only significant buildings other than residential properties are Lee High School and Capitol Heights Baptist Church. That being the only business type structures in the area would indicate to you that this is a neighborhood. On the three sides of the building, there's over 13 residential houses that if this building was erected, the building's supposed to be 2 stories, okay? So these people would actually be looking out their front door at a 2-foot-story metal building, and we don't think that's right, not only to put this in a residential section, but to ask the residents to have to deal with the building as it sits in the area. And if you would consider the spot zoning, I can go sit down. If not, I have others that could speak to this as well.
Come forward, please.
Thank you very much. Terry Robinson. I'm in Capitol Heights. 2 points I'd like to make, as Gene Gunner has already made one of them. This is classic spot zoning. We're proposing to stick a warehouse, a 2-story warehouse, in the midst of a residential area, inconsistent with the long-range plan, which calls for office or residential. And also it's inconsistent with an agreement we entered into when the Walmart development came about, which was we would have Highland Avenue be the boundary, the north boundary, and we would not convert any more residential properties to business. And a third point, there's an empty Winn-Dixie building on on Mount Meigs Road. That could be adaptively reused, similar to the Kmart, that would not require any rezoning of this nature. Thank you.
Is that it?
Well, from where I live on Capitol Avenue, I travel down Ann Street and South Panama quite a bit. And I noticed the school children at Lee High School. There are no suitable sidewalks on Ann Street for them to leave school and walk into the neighborhoods. which we're talking about Highland Park here, okay? So these kids, many of them, 15 or 20 of them in the afternoon, they're walking home from school, and they walk across over to South Panama Street to get home, okay? So you've got a school within 2 blocks of this, and I just think that those children are going home to a residence there, and there won't be any more residences if it's going to continue to be built up business in that area. And I thank you so much for listening to me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman.
One more person.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I want to ask him a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm
Go
just trying to, from a proximity standpoint, where do you live up here now on this map?
Where do you live?
Where's your house on this map right here, or your residence?
If you go, you see where South Panama is? If you go up to the end of South Panama and take a left on Mount Meigs Road, my street is Capitol Avenue.
I'm just trying to figure out if there's anybody here tonight that's in close proximity to this property.
This lady that just...
This lady right here? Okay, well, I'd like to hear from somebody.
Would there be anybody from the Highland Park area?
I want to see what the concerns are of the people that are immediately affected by this.
Yes, sir. I did get in touch with the lady who is over the Highland Park area, and she's currently moving to Elmore, and I guess she wasn't available to be here. I'm the president of our Capitol Heights Civic Association, and the way I look at it, Mr. Tips, is that...
It's Tate, Kippy Tate is my name.
Yes, Mr. Tate, I'm sorry, I don't see too well. If they do this to this area, they'll do it to any area. So we'd like to stop it now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if you could come forward.
She's been here before.
Can you hear me?
Just pull the whole thing down. Pull the whole thing, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sheila Jackson, and I live in the Lee Oaks neighborhood, which is where Althea and Thrasher Street are. I met with Jack Johnson back during the summer. We looked at his drawings. I actually looked at one of his sites. I think it would be a good thing for our neighborhood. I have a friend who lives on Althea Street, Martha Donde. She could not be here tonight because she's in the hospital with a broken leg, but she's in favor of this. Several years ago, we were approached by Wills and Sullivan about this very item. I was president of the association at that time. The people there were all in favor of it because that, as opposed to an apartment, which is what it's zoned for now, was preferable to us. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
And I'm looking at where the entrances are, because I'm familiar with this area. I mean, I travel
I'm
up
sorry,
through
I can't
travel
hear
up through this area quite a bit. The entrance gates is going to be directly in front of some houses, some residents' driveway. And my problem with that is that when you got these big U-Haul trucks coming in there, bagging in, some of these trucks going to run up on these people's lawn and tear it up. I mean, because I've seen, the 16-foot U-Haul trucks, but they entrance gates that get inside this storage facility, they're going to be directly in front of these people's driveways. And I just don't see how, because I done drove a few not 18-wheeler trucks, but U-Haul trucks, 18-footers, and it take a lot of maneuvering. So they're going to end up on some of these people's lawns and stuff like that. Maybe the people that live right there to where these entrance gates to this storage facility are going to be, maybe they didn't understand what was going on, the reason why some of them ain't here. But if I lived there, I would be here and I would be totally against it because I don't want people trying to pull big U-Haul trucks right in front of my house, right in front of my driveway. I also know it's going to be a problem because some of those folks down Thrasher and Aaliyah, I know that they park on the side of the streets. So it's going to create some confusion. And not only that, now you got these big trucks coming up Ann Street. Ann Street is already congested a whole lot. And because I try to avoid Ann Street at all costs. But I just don't think it's a good idea right there, and especially the way that you're going to be entering that property right in front of these people's homes.
Well, look, let me ask you don't think it's a good idea. It's zoned apartments right now. You think apartments are going to be a better use?
Well,
I mean, the neighborhood is, this lady, I don't know about the people that don't live in the neighborhood, that live on Capitol Parkway. I can't speak for them. But this lady who lives in the neighborhood is saying that this is she feels, and her neighbors felt it was a better use.
Well, but we only see this lady. I don't see her neighbors.
Sir,
that see it.
I understand.
Sir, could you answer some of his concerns?
Yes, I can. The site plan does not allow for trucks to be getting onto other people's place. Once you come onto the site, there's a street with a curb up next to the building, landscaping on the behind the curb toward the streets. So there's really not an opportunity for a truck. It's not designed that way where they could just back around into people's yards. It comes into a self-contained site right here, and then there's green grass between, and this curb's 30, 40 feet from the streets.
Okay.
And we worked with the city a lot this summer and fall. We had proposed to have an entry here and here, and they really wanted it to let people get off the street and not tie up Ann Street to get in. So that was decided on, and we submitted to that.
That was a good idea there. I'm not trying to get them in there off Ann Street.
Yes,
sure.
Self-storage is it's a strange business as far as traffic generation. We've done studies. It's about 15 cars per day max over the whole 24 hours that'll come there. It's almost a nothing as far as traffic engineers are concerned.
I got only one other concern that I got.
Yes, sir.
Security-wise, and I heard her say there were going to be security gates and all that, but some of those high school kids, if you go back in around Span Street and a couple of other streets, McQueen and all that, if you was to ride down through there, I see a lot of the school kids basically shooting hookies from school. It ain't gonna be no way that they can get up in that facility to hide out and smoke weed or whatever they do. So security-wise, I'm concerned about that also.
We operate primarily in Atlanta with 3 locations, and they're in some pretty difficult places. And we've learned how to keep beauty and keep order. And we're also the owners. We just came to Montgomery 18 months ago and opened the facility on McGee Road, which we're real proud of. But I'd like to say, insert here, this facility is going to be the most beautiful in Montgomery, in my opinion. I made a decision not to put metal siding around the 3 sides like we did at McGee Road. And the whole exterior of this building is going to be permanent materials, brick and stucco. So we just want to come in and looking really good. It's going to be well lit. Look at McGee Road, which Sheila did. She went over there and visited our manager and was really impressed. And we plan on, every time we do one, we want to step it up and do better the next time.
We have one more person that wanted to say something.
How many did you say you had done in Atlanta? Did I misunderstand you? 3 in Atlanta.
State your name, sir.
Terry Robinson. I've already spoken once, but I just want to essentially ask a question or make a point. I understand gentlemen's agreements don't necessarily hold the weight that they used to hold, but we had an agreement. And y'all are making a bigger decision than this one parcel of property right here. If y'all allow commercial development to encroach north of Highland, inconsistent with our agreement, you can't stop. There will be no rationale ever. So any property along Ann Street that wants to be commercial, you'll have to allow it to be commercial. So you're making a decision that will affect Ann Street its entire length. And I just want you to be mindful of that, and maybe that's what you want to do, but you're turning all of Ann Street into a commercial area.
Sir, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So are you concerned about the aesthetics of Ann Street, or are you concerned about the use of the properties on Ann Street?
The use of the properties.
So aesthetic means nothing to you?
I didn't say that.
Because Lee High School is one of the ugliest schools in Montgomery. And this building right here, to me, has got an aesthetic quality that can begin to enhance the beauty of the street and the way that the folks
Sure.
use it.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Well,
sure, Lee High School is pathetic. It's a shame. It's a disgrace for this entire community. We shouldn't allow that to happen.
And I can say that about Lee High School. I finished Lee High School in 1978. It was a much better property then than it is now. And I'm concerned at some point that if we don't grab what these streets and thoroughfares look like, because on the other end of Ann Street, it's starting to deteriorate as well, as you probably know.
I'm with you.
So do you want to leave a vacant piece of property there with a potential low-income housing complex to show up there? Would you be down here opposing that?
I think an empty lot, if it were maintained, which it's not, is preferable to a two-story, my opinion, unattractive warehouse. You said the tire store was ugly. Did you take a look at that drawing?
Well, I think that's going to be a better shot than the tire store. That was going to be one of the comments. But I want to get an answer to this question from whomever was opposed to it. This property, and I think my good friend Mr. Cook on the other end made a point, that is right now currently zoned for apartments.
Sure.
You think they're going to put a decent set of apartments on that site right now?
I don't know. A couple of years ago, there was a proposal to put very attractive senior living apartments there. I don't know if you remember those drawings.
I was involved with that. I know what you're talking about.
Beg pardon, we can't hear you.
That was a project by the Montgomery Housing Authority. I know about that project.
Sure, and for whatever reasons, it hasn't moved forward, but who could be opposed to that?
But nobody is going to put anything there, in my opinion, that attractive as the project that you're comparing it to. I just wanted to make the point that at some point, whether it's the use of the property along Ann Street or whether there's some sort of aesthetic qualities that could help enhance the experience down Ann Street would be something that I'll be more concerned about.
Well, it's, in my judgment, it's all of the above. But when you make the decision to allow a two-story warehouse, and you can hang stucco or ephes on it all you want, it's going to be an ugly two-story warehouse in the midst of a residential area, and it's not just Lee Oaks, all four corners around this property are residential. Y'all got to make the decision.
Okay.
But
all right,
that's my thoughts.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Pull the whole thing down. The whole thing. Pull the whole thing down. Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
I just wanted to make one more comment. This lot has been vacant for many years. We've called the city and we've called everybody trying to make sure it looked nice. It never looked nice. And the Housing Authority project, I called the guy who was the developer. I think he was from Chicago, Peter Wolf or something. The Housing Finance Authority didn't have the money or couldn't come through with the money for that project. Yes, we would like to have had that, and that would have been a nice addition, but that didn't work. I think this is a very good alternative. And as I say, I have a friend who lives at 2935 Althea Street. She was all in favor of this, and several years ago, our neighborhood was. Thank you.
Before you sit down, ma'am, I want to ask you one last question. Can somebody point to where your house is relative to this project?
I live on Bruton Street, which is around the corner. I don't live right there, but I go by there a lot, and I come down McQueen Street to go to work. I live on Bradley Drive. It's off Oak Forest.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else for me?
Wait a minute.
For him, not her.
Okay. Sir, could you come back to the mic?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Yes,
I got
sir.
a comment, question. A couple of times it's been mentioned that it's a two-story building.
Right.
What portion of that building is two-story?
Right. And that's what I appreciate that. The land lays, like this. And so what we're doing is called an over and under. And we will put, the lower level will be underground on Thrasher Street side. Althea will be 2 level, but it'll be starting down at their street level, 2 level. So and that's why the front really looks like it's going to look is, we're at the grade of the street there. And so the rear end of the site begins to fall down and work toward Althea. So we have all that underground, and it is 2-story on that side.
All right.
Last question I have, Mr. Chairman, is now on your plan, you don't show any landscaping, but in your rendering, you do show trees and shrubs and stuff like that. So which drawing am I to believe, the plan or the elevation?
We're going to make it beautiful. We haven't gotten into the landscape design, but the city has a pretty good code for that we did at McGee Road.
But the gentleman back there had a question that I want to make sure that I don't get bamboozled here, thinking that you're going to build this building with these trees and pretty landscape and shrubs based on what you're presenting. Now, if you're not going to build this, tell me now, and then I'll make a different decision. But if you're going to build it, you got my vote.
I'll build this.
Thank you. The record, it's in the record, right, somewhere? All right.
Any other questions?
I would like to make a comment before we vote. Several times we've talked about spot zoning here, and I'll make the same comment that I did 2 or 3 months ago when we had a different house on Perry Street that we were doing. Spot zoning has 2 comments to it, 2 parts to it. It is a zoning that changes the zoning in the neighborhood, but it also has to be to the detriment of the neighborhood. And I'll say the same thing that I said then. I don't think this particular project is a detriment to the neighborhood. So I hope that will deal with the spot zoning issue. Fortunately, the city council, when it went to the city council, voted the same way that I voted, which was sometimes projects help an area even though it is a change in the zoning. Thank you.
And in closing, this is who all I sent the letter to. It's everybody that touches the site. I did it on my own initiative. James told me it wasn't required. I spent several months trying to find anybody I could talk to. And I did get 1 phone call from that, and that was it. But I met with Sheila Jackson several times by phone and in person, and Miss Dondi, I went to her home. So I've made a lot. I wish I would have met these people before tonight.
All right. I guess no other comments? All right, at this point.
I'd like to make
Yes.
one other comment before we vote, and that's just a concern that I've got about this particular zoning is that it is zoned multifamily, and I do think we ought to make sure that it can revert to multifamily if it gets rezoned. I don't want B2 is a fairly wide range of activities can be in a B2, and so.
You can qualify it.
What's that?
You
Well,
can
I
qualify.
understand we can qualify it.
That's the safest thing to do.
Well, we can qualify it. We can qualify it
To this use, to this use only. Yes, sir.
to a warehouse.
To mini warehouse or climate control storage only.
We can do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I would probably go along with that.
There's no provision in the law for reversion
There's not?
Zoning, no, sir.
Okay. Okay, I just am concerned about what might happen if this doesn't take place.
Yeah.
And that's the concern that I've got with this, is that there are a lot of B2s that I don't want there.
Understand.
And so that's my concern that I've got.
I think that's a good point, and I'm for that, but I'm not the owner.
Right. Right.
So that's the reason I look back at.
But let
this
me
is
ask you
one
a
of the
question
owners.
though, my friend. Are you representing the owner? Are you representing the owner? Is he here? He's the owner.
I'm one of the owners of the property. And I can understand the guy's concerned about wanting to keep the neighborhood like it is. But the long-term plan, and it's probably in the pretty near future, is Ann Street will be 4-lane. And it's going to be commercial. So I know you don't want to change, but it's going to change. A lot of the houses are going to probably go away. And I think this is a great project. I own the house on the corner too. And I'd much rather have this building there than some government housing or low-income apartments. And that's all we've had to look at the property was apartment. And they're going to be 2-story. So you sort of pick your poison. I mean, I think this would be an asset to the neighborhood. It's going to be secure. It's a beautiful building.
How soon will you start the project?
It'll be this year. We'll start this year in 6 months or so.
Why so long?
I just don't want to do anything wrong that you'd call me and say you didn't start in 6 months.
I'll find you.
It'll take till March 3rd to get the council to vote on this. So we're debating if we get approval tonight to go ahead and turn the architect loose with the risk that we might get turned down. But we're in a hurry.
But am I to understand that the owner does not have a problem qualifying this?
That was my question.
As my good friend Mr. Frank Cook said on the other side.
You don't have a problem qualifying it, do you?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I think he just said that.
The owner, he wants it. Owner.
Does the owner?
Do you understand the question, sir? The owner? Do you understand the question?
Yes, sir. We don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's fine. Okay.
All right then. I guess a motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Move to. Wait a minute. You move to approve with qualified?
Move to approve with the qualifying.
Okay.
Second with the qualifier.
All right. The motion been made with the qualifying on it.
One second, Mr. Reed.
The qualifying.
State the qualifying terms.
Frank,
you don't have to state that.
It's a self-storage.
and if it doesn't work out,
Self-storage,
then it can't.
climate-controlled warehouse. Is that a fair statement? Is that what we're saying?
That's what you want, right?
All right. That's what I thought we were talking about.
In other words, we're rezoning it for that purpose. Right.
That's correct.
Right.
And if something happens to Jack, I guess.
They got to come back. They got to come back to the commission.
My only concern is that I want it reverted. I mean, we can't revert it, I guess, back. I just don't want. If it sells, fine, but I'm just concerned about the.
Well, Frank, I would be
probability
opposed. I would be opposed for it to revert back to multifamily. I just don't think that you're going to get a decent product in there if it's going to be multifamily.
Right.
I need the property owner's name for the record. If you state your name, Mr. Gardner.
Robert Gardner, Jr.
Property owner.
Yeah.
All right. The motion. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The motion's been made.
Yeah. The motion has been made.
And second.
And second. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Those opposed? All right, thank you. Good luck on your project.
Next item is by Larry Speaks and Associates on behalf of Cage Properties LLC, requesting to rezone one lot on the southeast corner of Vaughn Road and Bell Road from O1 to B2.
Stephen Speaks with Larry Speaks and Associates, representing Cage Properties. Cage Properties is requesting to rezone the property in the southeast corner of Bell and Vaughn Road. It's the old Regions Bank building that's been vacant for a while. They're proposing to rezone it to B2 for the use for a C-store.
Let me ask you something. Let me start the question off with, is it going to be a convenience store or is it going to be a service station?
Right now, they've got somebody requesting a convenience store. They haven't said if they're going to have gas there or not. I don't know that.
Okay. Have you talked to the neighborhoods in that area? There's several neighborhoods down there. Have you talked to them?
I have not.
Do you know if the convenience store will sell liquor, alcoholic beverages or not?
No, they haven't. They haven't indicated that to me at all. The owner has not.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
No. But that would all have to be carried through council anyway. So
right,
yeah,
right.
And that would be a
no, I
council
just mean the
question.
plans,
Right.
the plans, the
I
future
got you.
plans.
Do you anticipate this convenience store selling alcohol, liquor and beer and wine? Did he answer that? Did you ask that?
That's what
already?
he asked, and no, they've not. I do not know, but they've not indicated that to me at all that they were going to sell any kind of alcohol at this. But I don't know that.
Well, do you want to come back when you know the answers to some of these questions? Because this is a big deal on that corner down there. And
Absolutely.
But do you want to try to get some answers to this before we?
Whatever questions, Kippy, you want me to ask, I'll be glad to.
I mean, I would hate to vote on that.
So the question is, you want to know if they're potentially the convenience store would sell any alcohol? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the future. And my question is,
Okay.
and my question is it, we have drawings here for a gas station. Is it going to be gas station or convenience store?
Or both.
Or both?
You want to know if it's going to carry gas. I know it's going to be a convenience store, but I don't know about the gas. Okay.
And the other thing is, there's neighborhood associations very close by. Have you talked to them and discussed the plans?
I'll be glad to. Yeah.
Any other questions from the members? Look like we have some people in the audience that want to come up and speak.
Okay. That'd be
Please
great.
approach.
Yes, my name is Jesse Miles, and I'm a member of the Bell Station Homeowners Association. I've lived in this area for over 30 years. And I understand the gentleman wanting to make it, and he's not asking, answering a bunch of questions that's being asked of you, like whether it's going to sell fuel or liquor, which I'm not opposed to liquor or anything like that. But we already have one service station across the street from the old Regions Bank. We have another service station which is coming in soon next to it on the left of the Marathon service station, which is going to be a Chevron Lions Pride. It just says coming soon, and it's right beside it. So now here's a convenience store coming in where the Regions Bank is or was, and they're going to serve, and he doesn't know whether they're going to serve fuel or not, or alcohol or not. And now you got 3 service stations within a 100-yard area. I mean, yes, everybody needs fuel. We got to make the world go around, but do we need that many service stations? We talked about congestion a while ago. Coming out of my neighborhood in the mornings at like 7 o'clock in the morning for people to go to work or take their kids to school. So you can't come out of my neighborhood, and I live from Regions Bank. I live maybe 300 or 400 yards from Regions, and there's an entrance there. It's called Wallabash. I've lived, like I said, over 30 years. 7 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock to 3:30 in the afternoon, and at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's horrendous trying to come out of there. People are passing you on the right and come back left and cut in. It's awful there at that intersection. So now we're going to make this, you're saying you're zoning it from an office to a, I don't understand what a B2 commercial is, but if a convenience store comes in there and sells alcohol, beer, fuel, now you're talking about congestion. You're going to have to put in another red light where I come out. Otherwise, there's going to be more wrecks than they are now there, because my fence has been knocked down twice. And in our areas, that fence has been knocked down. The privacy fences is about 13 homeowners on that fence on Bell Road have been knocked down numerous times because of traffic. And so now you're going to add more traffic. It's going to be awful. So I think it should be disapproved. I know we're not, you said you can't vote, but I don't think this should be approved. Thank you.
Do you want to speak?
Good evening. I'm Chris Foster, the Bell Station Home Association president. Thank you for the opportunity to express our concerns.
Pull the mic down a little.
Thank you for the opportunity to express our concerns to the commission. And before I even begin, I just want to say thank you to the Montgomery Police Department and also to the fire department for keeping our community safe. They have been so instrumental with Bell Station, and we appreciate it. Anyway, I'm really concerned after listening to this gentleman, and just as my assistant here said, that they're not talking whether it's a gas station, if they're going to sell alcohol, but that's a very, very congested area. I don't know if any of you travel that road, but we have accidents like every week there, plus little fender benders. Because coming out there, it's a very narrow area, and we do have 2 gas stations now. We have the Marathon, and right next to it is a huge Chevron that's being put in. And we have this one, and a half a mile down the street, you have MAPCO. You also have, I think it's a Circle K. And you also, for convenience foods, you have a Publix. And so I'm very concerned, though, with this gentleman. He doesn't know anything. I don't know how we can go and change the zoning from, what is it, 01 office to B2 to put a gas station, convenience, or we don't know what in there. Okay, and I just want to point out a few things to you. I had a whole thing to read to you, but I'll cut it short. Give me just a second. Okay, this is not enough, and I should say when I called, on the sign was there with a number to call, they told me that the convenience store was going to be a gas station. That's what the person who answered the phone told me. Because to me, convenience store is liquor store. Okay, I'm not from around here. Okay, this is not a place to have another gas station, convenience store. 3 gas stations in a row is kind of ridiculous. We have Alliance Pride Chevron being built next to the Marathon station. When that was built, we have a span of a mile that you have all the places that I mentioned to you. Okay? You also have the entire shopping center there as a convenience area. And I just believe that good standing city planning would turn down any type of convenience store or gas station in that lot mainly because of the traffic. Okay, you know, all of you live in development somewhere. Okay, you know that these bring crime, they bring trash, they bring light, noise that you can't, you can't contain. Also, the pollutants from what comes out from the pumps and things. We have a creek that comes down through the middle of Bell Station. And I appreciate you people listening. I really do. And it's my understanding that these are some of the recent things that happened right there at that corner. We've had people caught gambling. We have a problem with people loitering over at the Marathon area. We have drug busts that have occurred. We've had 2 shootings, okay? Also, you probably all heard this on the news about the felon who was caught at Bell and Vaughn, where he had shot a man in Dothan and kidnapped a girl. That was there where they picked him up. We thank the Montgomery police for that. But anyway, I wish and I hope that you will do like the golden rule. If you live in a development and it's at an intersection like that and with problems that we're already talking about, that you would do the same for me and vote against. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Steve, you've kind of heard, and there are a lot of unanswered questions, as you well know.
Well, what I'd like,
Since
let me
you represent the,
Yeah.
you know where I'm going.
Why don't we just table it for right now? And
That's-
let me
that's-
talk back. Chris, don't leave. I want your number. Jason, I want your number. And I'm going to get the owners to call you. That's what I'm going to do. So before y'all leave, I want to get your numbers. But if you could, Mr. Chairman, let's just table it and I'll get with them
Yes,
and
sir.
we'll follow back up.
Not a problem.
Thank y'all.
Not a
Appreciate it.
problem.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I want to make
Yes,
one
sir.
thing perfectly clear. And I do understand the lady's interest in crime, but I don't want to associate crime with this particular request.
Right.
So I just
Right.
want to make that clear so that that's not a situation where somehow we've attached crime to this request, because I'm not necessarily...
No. We're only asking them to have a dialogue and have a meeting of the minds about, we're not asking them to agree, but at least have a dialogue and have a meeting of the minds.
I mean, Stephen is the engineer and
Right.
he's up there getting questions asked of the owner, not the
Right.
engineer. So I think that's fair to everybody. Well, you got a double barrel.
Good.
You got a double barrel full tonight. It's a roll of the dice. So.
All right.
The next item has been delayed. It was a presentation by Patsy Coles requesting to rezone a lot on the southeast corner of Oak Street and Mill Street from R60D to a B2. It'll be carried over to the February 27th meeting. The 11th item is by Jonathan Beasley, requesting to rezone one parcel of land on the north side of Atlanta Highway, some 1,000 feet west of Sprott Drive, from Ag 1 to B2. Mr. Beasley?
Good evening. My name's Jonathan Beasley.
Good evening.
All right. I want to see about getting the property rezoned from ag to commercial.
Have you talked to the neighbors?
Well, I don't have no neighbors. They just,
I mean, to anybody in the area?
I don't have no, it's just a tree company. Arbor Pro right next to my property. And the other property is a farming place where they raise cows.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
What's your intended use on that if you got it rezoned, what's your intended use?
Be a mechanic shop, auto repair shop.
I'm sorry. Oh, yes, sir. Okay.
Auto repair.
Yes, sir. You're right. Okay.
Question, comments from members of the audience? All right. Motion is in order.
Before we do this, Mr. Chairman, I think everybody's got the same thing in mind, but won't say it. What is this? What does this repair shop look like? How does it function? I mean, is cars everywhere, tires and transmissions, and parts and pieces everywhere? What does it look like?
Just a basically auto and truck repair shop. I was down at, you accumulate a few cars at a shop, but.
Is it going to be screened from the road, and do people, if one was traveling past your property, what would they see?
Auto repair shop, 60 by 100, enclosed metal building, auto repair.
Are cars that accumulate, are they going to be on the outside of the building, on the rear of the building?
On the rear, it's a 5-acre lot, so I got it set up for any cars accumulated to be parked at the rear of the building.
Okay, so now we're not trying to set up a junkyard, are we?
No.
You got 5 acres, that's a lot of acres just to be fixing trucks and cars.
Well, I own trucks too, so I was getting enough room to park them too, because I work on my own trucks.
Okay. I'm just
And I need the room for the parked trucks, no turnaround and stuff like that.
I'm just trying to get a visual connection as to what this will look like, because once we turn you loose to do it, then it's out of control, then folks start complaining, so I'm trying to address it on the front end. So will you have it properly screened so that whatever's happening on your property won't be visible to the street?
On the back side of the property, for the front side, it's gonna be nice and clean, just a
When you say nice and clean, what does that mean?
parking
Cars
lot,
parked orderly?
you know, just cars parking and, you know, grass and whatever, but
Some trees,
anything
some
that,
shrubs? You put some trees out there, some shrubs?
I probably will eventually, but I got to get to that point.
The reason I'm asking, because right now I'm kind of on the fence, man. I'm just trying to get some idea before I decide what, because I don't want you to be back down here for complaints. If you remember one of the 2 city council meetings, they had a gentleman hemmed up down here over the same similar kind of operation, even though it was a little different. I just don't want you hemmed up later, number one. Number two, before I vote, you got to paint a picture for me.
How much of this property will be left treed once you get through with your plans?
Just the front portion of it where you're coming in, the trees already there, I'm clearing out.
Yeah.
Once I clear, I'm gonna leave some of the big oak trees and stuff there, but I need enough turning room and drive-in area to get trucks in and cars.
So,
and on the back side, gonna be fenced in with a private fence, a screened-in fence, and any cars that be left or people don't pick up, they'll be parked on the back side.
How big is your building going to be?
60 by 100.
I'm gonna try my question one more time. What am I gonna see when I drive by your property? Is it gonna have some kind of visual screen so that what's happening in there is not necessarily something that you see from the automobile? Is there gonna be something, or will you just have a naked eye view right into the operation of your business?
I don't understand your question.
All right, I'm gonna say it to you. When I'm driving past your property, when I look to whichever way I'm going, when I look to the north, towards your front property, what will we see? Will it be a naked bird's eye view right into the property, or will we have some kind of screen, something that will break up the visual connection between what we see as a driver versus what we see once we get our eyes onto your property?
It's gonna be just shrubbery in front of the building, drive-in doors, trees at the road where you come in at, you know.
So how far will this building be from the property line, the front property line? How far back will you set the building?
It'll be sent back about 150 feet from the property line.
And in front of the building is where you're gonna have parking, right?
Yeah, the office and the parking
front
for
of
the
the
customer parking, and all the repair cars will be on the side and in the back.
Driveway is gonna be paved?
Nope, it's gonna be slag brick. Slag rock.
Well, and so
The parking lot where I'm working at, around the building, gonna be concrete, then all the rest of it gonna be slag.
okay, all right.
I got a question. What is that structure right next to your property right there?
It's Arbor Pro, it's a tree company, it's a metal building. It used to be an auto repair shop.
Oh, okay.
What will your building be made of?
The what?
What will your building be made of?
It'll prefab metal building, prefab.
Do you have that business in progress now somewhere?
Yes, I rent a building right now.
What does it look like now?
Auto repair facility down on Wayfair Road, you know, cars and trucks, you know, about 5 repair shops in the same building that I'm in.
I think we're trying to just figure out the aesthetics of the
Yes.
environment in which the property, the building is going to be. There's a property that is in another district, and it is an eyesore because there's so many cars, wrecked cars, abandoned cars. I mean, it looks horrible in the neighborhood.
I don't deal with wrecked cars. I deal with cars that, people bring them in, I work on them. Some people pick them up, some people leave them. We pile for abandoned vehicle titles, sell them, but we don't deal with wrecked cars.
So you just deal primarily with repairing them and getting them out?
Yes, ma'am.
And from the street, would you be able to see you repairing them or your mechanics repairing them, or is that not visible in the front of the building?
Well, you look hard enough, you probably couldn't, but I'd be far enough off the road, but you can't really, actually see exactly what's going on.
So there's not going to be a lot of clutter and tires and
No, ma'am. No.
debris and all that kind of stuff in the front of the building on the roadside?
No, ma'am.
The point is, this is going to be visible from not only Atlanta Highway, but Interstate 85, and that'd be very unsightly to have it looking bad over there.
And that's why he was going toward the fence or something from Atlanta Highway.
Blind.
Yeah, some kind of thing so that everything wouldn't be visible. That's why he was saying, either a privacy fence or something like that with the driveway going in there. That's
I
what
had
he
to
was
put a
pointing.
private fence up, but the way I got it planned, if I would have drew it out, you would have seen I had it planned where it'd be a nice looking building, where I won't need no private fence and stuff like that. It just look like a business from the road,
Do you have the plan?
Not yet. I had to get it rezoned I had ordered the building, but they told me I had to get all this done before I get the building.
No, I mean a drawing of the plans. Do you have something like that? No?
Not with me, I don't.
Have you closed on the lot?
What now?
Do you own the lot
Yes, I own it. Yes.
already?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, the landscape ordinance is going to take care of some of the concerns because he's not going to be able to wait. He's going to have to put a certain amount of landscaping in per the ordinance prior to being able to even open the business. That's just the way it is, and that's why the ordinance was adopted.
Is there any limitation, as my colleague was asking, is there any limitation for how many cars can be all over the place and
He said he doesn't even do cars.
yeah, I know. Is there any limitations to that?
No, sir, not as long as he stays on a surface that's suitable for them being on. Of course, they can't be abandoned and they have to be there for repair. And we're doing the best we can to enforce that, but it is a struggle.
And that's exactly why I'm concerned, colleagues, because this is a concern all over the city. And as Ann said just a second ago, I know it's two different types of uses, but when you're looking at it, you don't know what the use is. It just looks bad. And I just don't want to have this gentleman back in here from another perspective without getting some understanding now so that we'll all be on the same page, because I can certainly tell you that if he's doing truck repairs, these are big trucks, right?
Yeah.
So the little landscaping that you're talking about over there, that's the ordinance, that's gonna be a low scale kind of landscaping which won't necessarily screen or provide much screening at all. So I'm just really concerned, and I wanna be fair to the petitioner too, but at the same time, I just don't have in my head, and maybe somebody else does, but I just don't have in my head a visual connection. I know he's got slag in the drives and parking areas, some metal building, which is gonna be ugly. Low-lying shrubs, which will probably help some, but the overall aesthetics of the property, I can certainly tell you I don't have a picture in my head right now, and I just wish you could do a little bit better job of helping me.
Do you want to, well, you can see how the questions are going, and you need 5 votes. Do you want to come back with a more definitive plan next month? Or do you want us to vote right now?
Whatever y'all want to do, man, don't make no difference.
No. I mean,
I'm saying.
it's up to you.
Well, I had to I was gonna get a plan drew up for the next hearing. They told me just get it rezoned. I couldn't do nothing until I get it rezoned.
No, I understand that you're talking about them, but what I'm talking about is come back with a definitive plan that you could either have on a drawing or you can explain to us to say, you know, this is the way it's gonna be. It's not gonna be a clutter with cars all over the place and all that.
Well, I told you that there ain't gonna be no clutter. I told you there's gonna be cars I'm working on and cars move in and out. On the trucks, I work on my personal truck. I got 18 wheels I work on. It ain't gonna be like no whole bunch of 18 wheels like other shop pulling up in there, sitting there, waiting to get work on. It just be my own personal trucks I work on, but I got an auto repair shop myself. I've been there for 27 years, and that's all I do is work on cars. And I bought this place to build my own shop because I've been renting all this time. So I paid for this place, and I said I'm gonna build me a shop here. And then out in the country, so I figured I'd be out of everybody's way. You know, that's why I got this place right here.
You've been in the auto repair business for 27 years?
Well, I was in one shop for 27 years with a partnership.
And in that
And
shop...
now I'm on my own now, and I said I'm gonna build my own shop instead of renting.
So you're building your own shop. The shop that you work in now, have you ever had any complaints about any clutter or?
At one shop that was down in the wall area, down around the waters, down on that end, and anything go on down there, you're gonna have a complaint. Anything to sow out to anybody down there, you're gonna have a complaint. And that's why we moved from down there, moved to another spot, you know.
But you didn't own that property?
Well, my partner owned it, and we were there in that spot for 27 years till they came down there. That's when we started having problems. That's why we moved out of that spot right there.
So do you consider yourself a responsible business owner?
Well, I've been in business by myself for 30-some years. Yeah. For 31 years. I've been in business for myself for 31 years. Been running the shop for 31 years.
Where does the city limits end? Are we inside the city limits or inside the county?
I thought I was in there. I thought I was in the country part, but I found out I was in the cities. I'm right there at the county and the city. You know, I'm right at the line. I ain't know that.
Okay.
PJ.
So
If I knew it, I would have never bought the property.
I know you're in the police jurisdiction, but are you in the city limits? Are you in the?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what I kept thinking, but I wasn't for sure. Okay.
It's way out there by that new overpass going
New
over
overpass,
to Vaughn Road.
Yeah, right past the new overpass on north of it, well, south of it.
Well, let me just ask, Mr. Senator, you said that that there's a rule about the city would help to ensure that it's not an eyesore to the community?
Well, it won't be able, I mean,
I'm sorry?
it won't be able to become a junkyard without catching some heat from the inspections department and possibly legal action, but, you know, it has to get to a point where we have to take action.
And the city does have the authority.
Yes, sir. We have the same authority at this location as we do downtown.
Okay, you have authority at this location.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's where I was going with this.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, one last item. The new Froggy Bottom that's out there in that area, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Directly across the street from me.
Directly across the street from me.
Yeah.
So I got a real visual connection of the Froggy Bottom with all the rocks and material out there. Visually for me, will that reflect similar to what you have on the other side of the road?
Yes.
Something along that
Yeah,
magnitude?
same the design of the building with the, you know, everything.
Because that building is ugly too, but I'm just saying, you be ugly looking at ugly. But that's okay if all the ugly folk are sitting there together, that's okay. But my point is, I don't want to be unfair to you, that's my point. So now I've got some kind of visual connection because of the Froggy Bottom building and what you're proposing would be somewhat in that similar
Yes.
concept. Okay.
Same type prefab building, all the same. But,
Okay.
you know.
Now that helps me. That's what I was trying to get to. And if the city makes sure that, you just don't get out of control with vehicles and turn it into a junkyard kind of place or vehicles everywhere, then I got a real good idea now what you're trying to do. So thank you very much.
Is there a definition for junkyard? I mean, I know what it is in my mind, but is there a city definition for junkyard?
It's addressed as salvage.
I'm sorry?
It's addressed as salvage yards.
Yes.
And it's permitted in M3 zonings on appeal to the board. So it's very hard to get a salvage yard.
Okay. So if you're not going to have salvage, right?
No.
Okay. So if it was qualified that you couldn't do that and you could have the, for the repair, would that be acceptable?
Yeah.
And repair only?
Yes.
All right, if there's no other comments, a motion is in order.
Wait a minute, the audience gets to talk.
Oh, is there anyone, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Is there anyone in the audience want to come up and address this? Comments? All right.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request with a qualification that this property be used only as an auto and truck repair business.
Second.
The motion been made and second. All of those in favor? Those opposed? Thank you, sir. Good luck with your project.
12th item on today's agenda is ECE Survey and Design, LLC, on behalf of Grady Hicks, requesting to rezone one parcel of land, 4.68 acres, located on the south side of Alabama River Parkway, 1,600 feet southeast of Lower Wetumpka Road, also known as 955 Millard Fuller Drive, from R50 to B2.
Yes, I'm Grady Hicks, and it's currently zoned R50, and we want to get it zoned B2 like the other buildings around it. I purchased it from the Habitat for Humanity over a year ago, and we thought it was a B2 then, but it wasn't. And we've cleaned the property up and done a lot of repairs to it, and just want to get it zoned so I can either lease it out or resell it, either one.
So the last time you were here, the last time we visited, you were supposed to have a meeting with the neighbors. How did that go?
I did. I had a meeting with them. The three of them show up, and they kept going back and talking about the Habitat for Humanity. Anyway, I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll figure out what I've got in the property. Y'all can buy it for what I've got in it. Or if y'all want to, the issue was passing through the end of the street through my property to get on the toll bridge road. I said, if y'all want to get it paved, get it approved by the city, I'll donate that to you or give you a dedicated easement. And we have tried talking back to them 2 or 3 times and hadn't come up with any type of response from them. Every time I do talk to them, all they say is, we're going to get a lawyer, we're going to go, the Habitat for Humanity wasn't supposed to sell you the building, and so forth and so on. So I basically hadn't blocked anything off, hadn't done anything. I've had several people have inquiries about the building, of renting it and buying it, but when I tell them that I'm got to get it rezoned for B2, most everybody that looked at it wanted to like a little hobby shop, a cabinet shop, and one automotive shop, and so I haven't done anything with it. Just let this kind of lie down and see what they would come back with, or where we could go from here. So that's what happened.
So you and the people did not come up with an agreement?
No, we didn't. We put several options on the table, and they never come back with anything with me. Basically, they don't want it zoned for any type of commercial, and they want to be able to use the access of the property. And the last conversation I had with them, I said, I bought the property with a little commercial building on it to do something with it. I said, I can't just leave the building vacant. I've got to do something with it. And they just said that we're going to get an attorney. We're going to go after Habitat for Humanity, and it's just been like a circle deal with them. So,
okay.
But no type of agreement has, to answer your question directly, no type of agreement has been made of anything with them.
Okay.
Mr. Hicks, I'm going back when you bought the property.
Yes, sir.
Did you go to the city to get a zoning letter?
Before I bought the property?
Yes, sir.
No, sir, I didn't. We just, I bought it.
You just closed it without
I did. They had that in another building. I bought 2 pieces from them. They were ready to move.
Yes, sir.
And they wasn't using this location. They only used this location when they were building the subdivision. They stored their items in it, had an office in it, and I didn't check the zoning. My attorney that closed it didn't. We just automatically assumed that, you know, it's a little commercial building. It's been there. It's B2, like, you know, the things around it. So, but
Yeah.
we didn't.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the members? The audience, come forward, please. Step to the mic and please state your name and address.
My name is Greta Sales. I live at 709 Millard Fuller Drive. I don't even know where to start with this. From the beginning, we were trying to inform people that we were not informed of any information about the property being sold. We were told by Habitat that we could use the construction warehouse to have our neighborhood association meetings, and at some point we could put playground equipment there so our kids can have somewhere to play. So we were in the process of neighborhood association trying to get that developed. We have been going through this for 20 years now. I moved in May of '99 in that neighborhood, and we've been trying to get our street paved for the last 20 years. We've been battling back and forth with Habitat and the city. The city saying they waiting on Habitat. Habitat was saying they waiting on the city. Supposedly Habitat had got money to get it approved to have the street paved. Somehow the money got lost. So we've been just kind of waiting to figure out what we need to do. Yes, time has gone by. Yes, we were let me see how I put this. We met with Mr. Hicks. During that meeting, according to y'all, because you all asked us to meet with him, we said in the meeting we didn't want, because of how the property was sold, according to documents that I got from the city and the county, the property should not have been sold. I think I gave you all a copy of that information the first time that I came to this meeting. In the first 3 paragraphs, it talks about Habitat for Humanity being a nonprofit organization and not to sell the property for a profit. We were not aware of any of the property, anything with Habitat being sold, because it's like they just disconnected themselves from us. When we met with Mr. Hicks, he had presented us with just a letter saying that if we agreed to have the property rezoned for him, he would allow us access. I can't comprehend that, because as far as I've known for the last 20 years, that's been our access. And then I was expressing to him that according to the documents, the property was sold illegally. He has to talk to Habitat. You know, we don't owe him anything, and he's telling us that if we allow him to rezone the property, then that he will allow us access. But the moment anybody could come through there and dump something over there, he will close us off. We refuse to be blocked in a neighborhood. We're already dealing with unsafe issues. We're already dealing with health issues because of the area where we are. And I've had neighbors. I got neighbors with a lot of health issues. I've had a couple of them that have passed. This young man's mother recently passed back here right before Thanksgiving. She has been standing up with us, supporting us, even with her illness, and just standing in for what's right. And what Habitat has done and what Mr. Hicks is doing is not right. And then the thing that he's presenting us with, telling us that we have to get with the city to try to get the street properly paved and pay that amount. He came out there, he tore down all the trees around the construction warehouse, he brought in the dirt, he was leveling things off. I had one homeowner, her house got flooded. She's at the very end of the street. Part of the property that he brought in stuff is part paved with something like pavement and rocks. The other part is still left like it is. We have discovered in time past that an aqua filter is underground. If that's the case, why we're sitting on a ticking time bomb, and now we're seeing all kind of evidence. Every house out there has cracks in the sidewalk and cracks in their driveway, and most of them have cracks in their foundation. Years ago, I was sitting and I felt a vibration under my feet. Well, I'm in the cul-de-sac of Millard Fuller, so I'm thinking it's a train because the train is really, really close to our house. And I asked my girls, I said, do y'all feel the floor vibrating? They was like, no. Okay, I thought it was just me. Maybe about 2-3 months ago, I was sitting and I had the same thing happen. I'm feeling vibration under my feet. We don't know what's going on underwater. I was told by a family member that worked for engineers and for years, and she had just retired. She was visiting from California. We were just talking about the neighborhood, and then we had just found out about the water being on the ground, and she was the one that told me it was an aquifiller. I just listened to her talk because when one neighbor brought that up to me and saw that, I started Googling it at work. It gives you a diagram of what could possibly happen. And she said, if y'all have a whole lot of rain, all these houses in the cul-de-sac are gonna go under. And she was talking about cracks in the street and cracks on the sidewalk and the driveways and foundations and stuff like that. And over a period of time, this stuff has started developing. We were under the impression at first because the potholes and the water that's down there at the end of the street, it was because trucks would come and park out there, and some of the kids from other neighborhoods would come out there and do the spinning the cars around out there. But that's not the case, because that is not happening now. And the water still sits in different areas out there. It just sits, and it's sinking and going into the ground. Now, I'm sure if something came up at some point in time with the development and with all of this in that area with Habitat, as homeowners, we should have been aware of it and not have been railroaded like we have. I thank you for listening.
Ma'am, could I ask you a question, please? We have heard and we have had communications over the 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I was under the impression that what we were really trying to discuss was a road connection from the subdivision to the outlet, to the road. I don't know what road that is.
Okay, if you
No, I'm talking about going through the property. You come through the subdivision, you come to the property, and the property's right in front of you. There is not a paved road that connects to the paved road, okay? I was under the impression that what you or what y'all had been led to believe, or what you believed, or whatever it was, that somebody, and the somebody I think was the city, was going to put that connection, that road down. Am I right or am I wrong about?
May I ask, if you're asking me this, were we informed that the street was going to be paved on out to the Parkway?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was the impression.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Hicks, can I ask you, if you would, please, sir, what was your understanding at the time you bought the piece of property about the road? Because obviously the piece of property, if they don't have access outside the subdivision, to the road that goes outside the subdivision, if you didn't have that access, how were you going to access your property?
Well, when I bought it, of course, we had it surveyed and all, and this is 4-point-something acres, and all that is part of the acreage. That is not a public right-of-way, a road. You enter that subdivision, or when they design that subdivision, you enter it from the other part of the toll bridge by the railroad tracks, which is coming through North Pass. And that's what they're saying, is they don't like coming through North Pass. It's so much convenient to just go out that road. But that road is part of the land that I purchased. I mean, it's not a road, so that's part of the property.
It's been used as access is all. But my question is leading this way. If haven't y'all had a conversation about accessibility, that you would allow accessibility all through to that?
What we discussed and what I did in the first meeting
Yes,
that I met with them, I
Yes,
told them if they would get that street put in to city specs or ordinance, that
Right.
I would grant them that right of way, but also I needed the property zone B2. So
Yeah.
that's what we discussed.
Is if where the road comes in, and it's been
There's
a
a
year or
picture-
so since
picture
I've been
behind you
out
if you
there.
wanna look at it.
But if I remember correctly, if you extended the road in the subdivision to the paved road out there, that in essence, you'd have divided that piece of property in half.
That's correct, and then I could do something with the left side and the right side, and
Yeah.
it'd be zone B2.
Would
for
that
the
work?
surroundings.
If you had that road through there?
You talking to me or them?
I'm talking to you.
Yes, if they would just, we'd have to deed it over to them. I wouldn't want to own it or be responsible for it. We just want it brought up to some type of city specs or ordinance or codes.
But at the end of the day, if you would wind up with 2 lots.
Correct, yes, sir. That's right.
Isn't that what
It
you
would have to be, because that road would split them.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes,
Right.
sir. And, if you look on the board, it's...
2 quick questions on the road. Is there another way to form that road so that you would wind up with 1 lot?
The only
Or is
way-
it curving too much to do
Well,
that?
what we'd have to do is, I guess, get with city engineer and whatever, I would think. The only other way would be was to take that road and move it toward the creek there, toward the J&K Trucking's on the other side of that creek.
Yes.
You'll look at the drawing where it comes out. If that road could be turned and come off that creek right away, then I could fence that off and have one piece of property.
Would that work for you?
Yes, sir. I don't have any particular thing. I just need to, figure out a use for the property to resell it or lease it. And I don't have any one particular use until I get it zoned what I think that would go in there. But yes, that would work.
So what would work for you is either moving that road and having 1 lot, or in essence, running it down the middle and having 2 lots.
We could work with either one of them.
Now, ma'am, let me ask you again. I thought that we were talking about accessibility and a road, okay?
Can I let
Yes,
me-
ma'am,
can I-
absolutely.
Your name?
Your name? My name is Angela Barnes. I live at 804 Millard Fuller Drive. I've been in my home for 15 years. When we applied for Habitat for Humanity for these homes, Alabama River Parkway and
Ma'am,
Alabama River Parkway
thank
and
you.
Millard Fuller Drive connected. Just as you look up there on that thing where the road is not paved, that portion is not paved because that was the construction warehouse. They could not pave that portion of the road. That is the entrance to New Hope Village, Alabama River Parkway and Millard Fuller Drive. Now, Mr. Hicks is saying that he did not know. There's no way you cannot know. This is a businessman. I'm not a businesswoman, but this is a businessman. There is absolutely no way, sir, that you did not know that that was the entrance to New Hope Village.
But again, let me.
I understand that, Mr.
Aren't
Hartwick,
you
but
coming back to the same identical thing that I just
I
talked
understand
about?
what
And
you're
that
saying,
is
sir.
accessibility to the subdivision is what you're really after.
That's what we want our road to the entrance to our neighborhood. That is the entrance to our neighborhood, and that's what we want.
Well, then what are we in? What's the?
Wait a minute.
What's
Because
let's
when we had that meeting, this gentleman told us to come up with the money to buy the property from him, and it has all of us upset because of the fact that we did not sell that property to him. On the platting, it says that that property was not supposed to be sold.
That's not even a part of an issue, is it, Ms. Hicks? Okay.
But that's what he told us. He's saying something totally
Okay.
different
All
here
right.
to you all, and I needed to address that to clarify what was being told to us in that meeting, because I do not like lies.
Ms.
No.
Sales,
Okay,
Ms.
I'm
Sales.
sorry, I don't like lies.
No one's lying here. What I offered y'all, if y'all wanted to buy that property from me.
All right. Listen.
For what
All
I
right,
paid for
listen. All right, let's just hold it down. Why don't you go ahead? Go ahead, what you got to say.
Okay, Habitat for Humanity came out and they tried to like they put rocks and stuff down there. They put a big tube, a big blue tube pipe down to try to drain the water off. They made us a better access. The only reason we go through North Pass, the only reason is because I can't afford to keep taking my car to the shop because I'm traveling on dirt road. Prior to this, what even a year after I was living there, I was keep taking my car to the shop because the grit was getting up under my CV joints, and the mechanic told me stay off the dirt road. Now I risked gunshots more than once. My girls have came through with gunfire coming over their head with neighbors in the North Pass area fighting, having a dispute. A girl got killed because she was trapped. The train was on the track.
Ma'am,
He has stated to me that he is going to put a fence up and just block the whole access prior to our last conversation.
ma'am, I'm gonna ask one more time. Isn't what you're looking for is a paved extension of that road? Is that not what you're looking for?
We're looking for all the promises that we were given from Habitat for Humanity.
Okay, listen.
Okay, listen.
No, wait a minute. Listen. When Habitat for Humanity had the land and they decided to sell it and didn't notify you guys, we're beyond that. What we're focused on now and what we're trying to stay on point is your concern is having access to Alabama River Parkway from your neighborhood. Is that correct or not?
That is correct. May I address something about...
That's a fair statement. Okay, if that's a fair statement.
Yes.
And we consider this rezoning with the stipulation that he has to give you guys access to Alabama Parkway. Would that be a fair statement? Would that be fair?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I've sat here and listened. Is this thing on, Mr. DJ?
Yeah, it's on.
All right. The whole issue really is about the parcel of land. This road is a temporary road that was used as a construction entrance. I was on the board of Habitat for Humanity when this subdivision was being built. Matter of fact, I designed some of the houses. I think I designed your house. What has happened is the neighborhood never got built out to the street, North Pass, Northern Boulevard. So what Mr. Hicks is saying is he got sold a parcel of land with a temporary road on it that's not an official drive.
Correct.
To connect. But we can't make him give them the road. If he volunteers to do it, that's one thing, but the issue really comes back to is I think there was a way that they could probably negotiate this thing. And what Mr. Hicks wants is some money. That's what he wants, quite frankly. If he sold the property, he get his money, he's gone. If he sold a right-of-way, so would you be willing to sell the right-of-way from an easement, should I say, that connects the existing paved road to the Alabama River Parkway? Would you be willing to sell an easement through there for that?
No. I think that wasn't the point that Buddy was making. No, I understand what you're saying. Listen, I understand what you're saying. All I'm trying to do is get my next question to Mr. Hicks. Are you willing to extend that road as part of the plan?
What I've offered to them was that I would give it to them, the easement, if they would bring it or the city would bring it up to the codes. I wouldn't want to keep it a dirt road or nothing like that and people driving through my property. If they brought it up and left it like what we were saying, then I'd have two pieces of parcel to resell or build another building on.
Mr. Hicks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for saying that. So let's expound. How long would you give them to build the road if in fact you were willing to give it to them?
Whatever amount of time is needed. What would y'all think, 6 months, a year? I mean, just whatever.
The only reason I'm asking, I'm not,
Sure,
they
sure.
may be able to get some people to help them with the purchase of the road.
I tell you what I think would be fair, that give them 1 year to
Okay.
get some grants or get some improvements from somebody or whatever to put the road into either way they would like it. And in the meantime, if I can get it zoned, I can go ahead and be using the land or renting the building out or whatever I need to be doing.
So how would a fair price be determined for the easement?
How would it come to a fair price?
Yes.
I would imagine just have someone appraise it. I would, imagine how that would be.
I'm sure that property, that right-of-way would have to be deeded to the city for them to do any work on it.
I'm trying, well, the point is, as Buddy was saying, the connection is really the main issue here. And this man owns the property, so I'm trying to figure out how these folks can get what they want. He gets what he wants.
Well, in some other property I've dealt with, it's just having something
and it's going to
appraised.
take an exchange of some money from somebody. Bottom line, I don't think
If he got his rezoning, and in the rezoning, he has agreed to put the road in, okay? If that's the case, that was my next question. Well, that's why I'm asking.
Right.
That's where I was going.
Right.
And that way you've got a developed piece of property, right? You
Yes,
got two
sir.
lots or you got one lot, if you put that road in,
Correct, yes, sir.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the simplest solution if that was?
It would be do what now?
Wouldn't that be the simplest solution if you got the rezoning?
Yes, sir.
And you, as per the code of the rezoning, stipulated that you would have that road put in within a 6, 8 months, whatever the time frame.
Now, I wouldn't be willing to agree for me to put the road in.
Okay, well, that was why I was asking the question.
So if they wanted to do it, or before they had talked about the city was going to try to help them out, or they was going to try to get a grant or something like that, I mean, I'd be all for that, but not to my cost. I wouldn't be beneficiary.
Well, what you got is you got a piece of property you can't do anything with.
Right now, correct.
That's-
With a commercial building on it, yes, sir.
So, and if you did have it rezoned, you'd have to have that road. You wouldn't have to have it, but I mean, the way things stand right now, you're not gonna get it, I don't think you're gonna get it rezoned without it. So, pay me now, pay me later. That's kind of where you are.
Yeah. Or just, it's a possibility. I could just fence it off and try to rent it to somebody for something, for something else. And see, basically here, they don't want any of it. They don't want it fenced off. They don't want it zoned, and neither one. And
Well, in all fairness, when they moved out there 20 years ago, I don't think anybody could have contemplated that they'd be in this situation at this point in time. Quite frankly, the issue really is with Habitat for Humanity. And I know you're in a bad spot, Mr. Hicks, because you caught from both sides, but Habitat for Humanity is really the person or entity that needs to be involved in the solution, in my opinion, because one, if they sold you the property and did not disclose that it was whatever, then that may be an issue, but the crux of the matter is the fact that Habitat really needs to be involved in the solution, as far as I'm concerned.
Has there been any conversation that you've had, Mr. Hicks, since you bought it?
No, so before I bought it, they had got a letter from the city stating that was private property, that there was no public or private road to access that neighborhood. I think that was a question I did ask them before I purchased it, and my attorney looked at it and said that no, that's right, and looked at a letter from the city, and they stated that was just 4-point-something acres. It was not a deeded or right-of-way through that property. So when I bought the property, I bought it with what I just said.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Can I say one thing real quick? Okay, I wanted to make sure I understood what you're saying. Mr. Hartwood, you were asking him if he would pave the road, but he doesn't want to do that, right? He wants us to pave the road. If we pave the road, he's still going to use the road. So why would we want to pay for a road that he's going to use for his business, and his business is going to profit from us struggling to pave a road? That does not make any sense.
Well, I think what he was trying to do is negotiate, just like what you're trying to do. You're saying that, hey, it's going to benefit your property, therefore you pave it. And he's saying, if you want access and not get blocked off, then you pave it. And you've got a no-win situation. And what we were trying to do collectively was to come to some sort of agreement that might work. And I think Kippy's 110% correct. At the end of the day, it's a shame y'all are all in the middle of something that y'all did not really.
Right. It's mostly Habitat's fault.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
99% Habitat fault.
But you you got to come to some sort of agreeing understanding of what's going to happen or how you're going to do it. You're not going to pay, Mr. Hicks isn't going to
Well, I
pay.
mean,
So maybe
we,
they
we,
each pay half.
I'm sorry?
Maybe they each pay half.
well, if you
I
guys
think the
want, if
problem-
you guys want to get together and help pave the road, that'll solve the whole problem. But the issue still is, you know, besides just paving the road, he wants to turn it into a commercial property. We don't want no auto mechanic shop in our neighborhood.
Okay,
We
all
got
right,
all that junk on across the street. They got all that stuff over there across the street. They closed in a pond that has a placard that says, is it Pickens Pond? It's some kind of pond. They put rocks and stuff. The ducks, I mean, the Canadian geese used to come there every year and be over there in that pond. We don't need any more junk.
So now we have a different issue.
But
okay?
I'm just saying, you know, besides the road, we don't want that commercial property to turn into a junkyard.
So where we kind of are is, Mr. Hicks, where we are, you're the petitioner, okay? You got control. You kind of hear what's the conversations that are going on. Do you want to go forward with a vote tonight?
Well, you know, I'm in the same spot I was 6 months ago.
Yes,
when
sir.
we was in here. I'm trying to offer some stuff out, and it's not working. And I mean, well, what happens if you vote tonight and it doesn't pass? Just come back again, or
You go to the city council.
You will have the right to appeal it to the city council.
because I mean, you know, I'm gonna have to do something with the property.
Yes, sir.
Understood.
The main thing is let's get it off of square one.
Get it what?
Let's get it off of square one where it's been for a long time.
Well,
I mean, I think that's what you're saying.
Sure, yeah.
You say, sir?
I said, yes, sir, that's right. That's right.
You want to move forward one way or the other, basically.
So are you saying that you do want to have a vote tonight?
Yes, I need to. I mean, y'all,
Okay.
I feel like I'm trying to be real fair with them. I done met with them. It's not getting nowhere. I gotta keep going to one step to do something.
All right.
Okay. All right. A motion is in order.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we deny the request, please.
Second.
A motion has been made to deny the request. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Those opposed? All right. You can see Tanya, and she can tell you how the process of taking it to the city council.
Thank you for your time, babe.
All right. Now we have one other final business.
Does that matter?
All right. All right. We need to elect officers for 2020. Are you guys waiting for some? Okay. Okay, you were just admiring everything, right? Just having fun. We need to elect officers for 2020. We will start with the vice chairman. Do we have a nomination for the vice chairman?
I'd like to nominate Ann Clemens.
Ann Clemens, nominated as vice chairman. Is there any other nominations for vice chairman?
Mr. Chairman, I move you close the nomination for the vice chairmanship, please.
All right. All those in favor of Ann Clemens being vice president, please raise your hand.
Vice Chairman.
Vice chair.
Vice chairman, I'm sorry.
Chairperson.
All those opposed? All right, the next order of business is the chairmanship, chairperson. Do we have a nomination for the chairperson?
Go, buddy.
You
You on a roll, brother.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Frank Cook.
Mr. Frank Cook. Are there any other nominations for chairman for 2020?
I'd like to nominate Kippy Tate. He's willing to accept.
Mr. Kippy Tate. What, I'm sorry?
Thank you, my colleague, but I'm going to respectfully decline this time. Thank you, sir.
All right. Kippy Tate decline. Any other nominations? All right. I will consider the nominations closed.
Thank you.
You want to vote on it?
And now, all those in favor of Mr. Cook, please raise your hand. Those opposed? All right. Congratulations, I'll give you the keys to the mansion where the chairman lives.
I think you got to vote for Tommy.
You got one, you got something.
Executive Secretary.
You gotta get Tommy.
Executive Secretary.
Do we have a nomination for executive secretary?
I nominate the same person that's been executive secretary since 2000.
Mr. Tommy Tyson.
Mr. Tommy Tyson.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor of Mr. Tommy Tyson as the executive secretary? Those opposed? All right, meeting adjourned.
Thank you all. Good job.